What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Yo, my name is CJ. So look, if you guys remember from the last video, we were talking about my property. We were fixing it up a little bit. There was a few issues going on. So, but one thing I will say is this. So we are getting done. I'm doing my few last inspections. So I want you guys to kind of tour it with me just a little bit. Like I said, this property is going to turn into a rental property later on. Right? Like I said, it's not vacant, but it will turn into a Section 8 property. So right now, if you guys can come take a look, you guys can kind of see this is kind of like the dining room, living room area. But really, if we go back over here, you guys will see that over here, this on the left is the living room area. Don't mind the junk on the floor. I'm still doing a few things. And please don't mind this either. Like this is just so people don't look in here. So typically, like before, like I was saying before, new flooring, paint. We won't keep it very simple. These air vents will get changed out and replaced as well too. Duct cleaning as well too will be completed and done. But all this got repainted. So all this got repainted and everything. As we get into here, this is like the, another living room, dining per se, right? So all this is well completed. This is well painted. Floors are well done, completed. We do have a basement area. Basement area it's unfinished, typically, but flooring is done here a little bit. But then, we have your basement, typical Baltimore basement, typical regular basement. Now, as we get into here, we do have the kitchen. So in the kitchen, if you guys remember, with a lot of wrong issues going on with the kitchen, pipes, flooring, leaks, everything. Remember, if you guys can't remember, or you guys don't really know what I'm talking about, just check out my last video, it kind of explains it all. But up here was a specific pipe. It was busted, connected to the bathroom that was upstairs, the tub. And it was leaking and coming out this specific outlet right here. Now, as far as I know, somebody wanted to plug a microwave right here. And the thing is, right, now, you can be the worst landlord, you can be the best landlord, but you do want to be the safest landlord. And the reason I'm saying that is because, let's just say I just, went ahead and just left it like that. That means if somebody plugged a microwave right here, and then there's water that's leaking from that big, huge pipe that busted, that's connected to the bathroom tub upstairs, and water's trickling out of here while the microwave is being used on a frequently basis, I mean, and you tell me what would have happened. But typically here, sink is gone, new sink, whatever, and all this. And so we're still leaving the stove. I have some very excellent, amazing cleaners who are gonna come in and help me clean the stove, clean the refrigerator, and everything. This did have to get replaced because part of the inspection process is that if any of these lights don't work, anything like such, what will happen is, speaking about lights not working, this isn't working. Unless, is it connected to? Oh, I see. Alright, false alarm. Thought that shit wasn't working for a second. I was like, fuck, I'm screwed. but yeah, so the flooring got done and everything. I don't know if you guys know what the backyard looked like, but for the backyard, let me tell you something, right? Before we go to this backyard, as you can kind of already see, the backyard, I had to barricade it. I know barricade is it's like a crazy word to use, but here's your issue, right? The issue is that you have individuals who are gonna be putting trash back there all the fucking time, and it's gonna piss you off. Like, they look at the house, they're like, oh, somebody haven't lived in that house for years. Little do you know that somebody is living here, right? But they don't know that. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna put trash in your backyard, and then you're always gonna have to pick up trash. Trash brings insects, roaches, bed bugs, you don't know, right? And when I say trash, I mean clothes, food, even a mattress. Bro. Anyways, come outside with me. everything is basically wooded up, fence, everything per se, right? So as you guys can see is that everything with the backyard, everything with the fence, all that had to have, all this needed to be put up. And the reason why is because it doesn't have to be the perfect fence, right? As long as the fence itself is at least like sturdy and it's not like, you know, like flopping or anything, like as long as it's sturdy, right? Then you're good, right? You don't want to touch a fence and it's sloppy. You feel me? So that's the only thing. Yeah, as long as the fence is sturdy, you're good. You don't have to worry about Section 8 telling you like, oh, hey, this is not sturdy, right? You know, just give it a good, you know, they're gonna give it a good test. They're gonna like wiggle it and be like, okay, it's sturdy, and then that's really about it. You understand? So typically, when we also did that, I also put the green carpet as well too on the floor as well. So you gotta also make sure that you put the green carpet too. And then here, you gotta also make sure you got your lock. The lock always gotta work regardless of what you do, right? So typically that's how the backyard is, how the backyard looks. I'm gonna be really honest, it's better than what it was before and how it used to be. I'll put a little bit of some, you know, some little pics and videos of how the process was, but guys, I got all this done. Mind you, I got all of this done for less than $2,000. The fence, the green carpet, all of this was done less than $2,000. Ask me how, and I wasn't the one that did it. My contractors. I know, right? It's crazy. But anyway, show you upstairs real quick how that went and how that process. But my contractor, they were supposed to come today. I don't know where they are. It's a different ones. I think, you know, I don't know if Section 8 would feel me because it's, you know, like chip paint, but we're just gonna, like, before the inspection, we're just gonna go ahead and just we're just gonna make sure we go ahead and like just touch up on all those stuff, right? I know it might scratch and stuff, and during that time we'll get cleaners and stuff to kind of come out. Like even like here, so basically like here, guys. So typically it's kind of the same thing. I think you guys have already seen this part. So this part was already, all this was new drywall and everything. Same thing with the bathroom. So here's like a storage space, closet, your office. You know, you can turn this into whatever you want to turn this into. In the bathroom, we're still doing some work in the bathroom. But you know, we glazed the tub, new drywall, and here as well too, new sink, new toilet. And also that as well too. So if you're wondering why this is here, is because of the fact that you're taking a piss or you're using the bathroom, just for the meantime, while we're getting everything squared away, we need that. So until we put a curtain there. But really from there, the bath, the bedrooms. So this house is a 4-bedroom. So if you guys remember, this was the first bedroom per se. All this is completed. So typically, so we're still gonna do just a little bit of work here as well too. Now, me knowing how Section 8 could be, pick your choose it depending on who your inspector is, right? We had this closet, but every room must have a closet and an egress window. That's 100%, you know, the fact of everything. And it also must have a specific fire alarm as well too. And if it doesn't, what's gonna happen is that, you know, you'll fail, of course. But one thing about a closet that can be very tricky is that this closet is very small, right? So if you wanted to like if you wanted to hang clothes here, right? The hanger is typically about 12 inches long, right? And yeah, like a coat hanger is usually like 10, 12 inches long. But you know, if I would take this phone, put it right here, it's already coming right here a little bit. So as you can see, you can't really hang clothes right here. So it's here for an option, but you must have a closet in every room. So we built this one out. So we built this one out for this room per se. But that's the first bedroom. The second bedroom, as well for itself. This is the second bedroom, regular size bedroom, closet space. Inside this closet space is just a little bit bigger, as you can see, right? The phone doesn't come all the way close to here. And you have actually a hanger right to hang your clothes and stuff. Keep your shoes on top. And then one thing about it is that all Section 8 neighborhood requires you to make sure that all these doors can close, lock, open, you name it. So this room doesn't really get, good adequate heat, but so what we do, we install some baseboards. The baseboard, so one thing about installing a baseboard here is that you have to make sure it has its own electric. So typically, I made sure that in here, we added an extra outlet, ran the wires down to the fuse panel in the kitchen, and make sure that each one of these specific heating boards have their own separate outlet. All right, so we're gonna get out of this room. So here we're gonna go to, here we have the third bedroom. So in the third bedroom, right, same thing, nice size space. Same thing with here, it doesn't get the best adequate heating. So what's gonna happen is that you have to put a baseboard heater, right? This room had no closet, so this will be the closet for the bedroom. So it's a nice size closet for anybody who wants to store their clothes, hang their clothes, and put the shoes right in there as well. So we'll put the shoes right on top. So this is the third bedroom. But I want you guys to understand that every bedroom that I just showed you guys had, what again? Had a closet, had a window, and has a fire alarm. All these are needed to make sure that the room is actually considered a room. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why, but as we get to the fourth bedroom, this is the fourth bedroom. Fourth bedroom is a little bit bigger, right, per se. This one is one of these baseboard heaters. And as you guys can see here that these windows, one of these windows are gonna be used for a window AC unit. It's gonna get a little bit high in the summertime when summertime does roll around. And when wintertime comes, right, we don't need it. So what I will say is that all of these specific rooms will get window AC units because we do not have central air, and that's okay. We see one thing with Section 8 is that you don't need to have central air. In fact, I don't need to provide a window AC unit, but I treat all my rental properties, I treat any property I live in, right, even particularly like this one, right, that's not vacant. I treat this one per se with the fact of, hey, each specific property, I'm gonna live in here, and if I'm gonna rent it out, I wanna rent it out to someone, and if I rent it out to that person, I have to make sure that would I live in a specific property the same way I expect the other people to live in a specific property. So that's how I kind of think about it. So it's like, would you want to live in a house that's leaking? You wouldn't. So why would you expect your tenants to sleep in a property that's leaking? You understand? You want to be comfortable. So this is the fourth bedroom. As you can see, window, fire alarm. There's no cracks or whatever I feel like could make you fail. And last but not least, this is the closet. I didn't have to build out another closet. You can actually walk into this closet and close this closet. You can't lock yourself into this closet. That's another good thing. And like I said, every closet has to lock. No matter how it locks. This right here cost me $1.27. That is less than a can of Arizona. So, also, what was I saying before? It was something I also said about rooms. So one thing about rooms is that in Baltimore or wherever, I don't know how to put it, but a room to me is considered a room that has a window. If you have a room and it doesn't have a window, I can't really call that a bedroom. I'm sorry. We can have this debate, we can argue it, but it's not considered a bedroom, 100%. And please, not those specific rooms that have like a window at the top, like a skylight. Hell no, that's not a bedroom. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. I don't consider that a bedroom. If you're sending me properties or you're sending me houses that I might want to live in, I do not want a window. No. But anyways, guys, this is typically the property, guys. So let me guys know what you guys think. Also, if you guys actually want to know how you can actually get into this property, I want you guys to feel free to, just drop a comment, reach out to me, and I'll actually give you a link where you guys can actually, schedule some time with me and we can actually talk. And like I said, I could be your mentor. So with that, guys, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and from there, catch you in the next video.